this next problem, we have another problem with against the wind and with the wind. So we're going to do the same setup that we did in the last problem. Distance equals rate times time. And the distance is going to be 48 kilometers for each part of this process. Let's do the against the wind part first because that showed up first. So here's r minus w for that equation, r plus w for the other one. It takes 3 hours to go against the wind and 2 hours to go with the wind. So there are those two values, and we have our system. Let's now divide the first equation through by 3 and the second equation through by 2. This will give us 16 is equal to r minus w, and 24 is equal to r plus w, which is again perfectly set up for us to add these equations together to eliminate the variables. We will have 40 is equal to 2r, and r then is equal to 20. And the units again will be kilometers per hour. And therefore, looking at the problems, r plus w is 24. That means 4 will have to be the wind speed, 4 kilometers per hour. Now we introduce or remind you of some key vocabulary words. When you see the word supplementary, you should know automatically we're dealing with two different angles that add up to 180 degrees. So right off the bat, one of my equations is going to be two angles add up to 180 degrees. One angle is, I'm going to write that as x is 2 degrees less than 3 times the other. Well, that becomes 3y minus 2. Be careful you do not go 2 minus 3y. When you're using the word less, you've got to be very careful of the order of the subtraction because you know subtraction is not commutative. Now you see right off the bat that the second equation has x isolated, and so it's set up perfectly for you to use the substitution system or method. We are now going to have 3y minus 2 plus y equals 180 when you substitute the second equation into the first. We would then combine like terms to get 4y minus 2 equals 180. Add 2 to both sides to have 4y equals 182. And then divide each side by 4 to get 45.5 degrees. Now, our two angles add up to 180, so we can either subtract that from 180 or take that value, triple it, and subtract 2. In either case, you will find out that the other angle is 134.5 degrees. Complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. So one of our equations is x plus y is equal to 90. It also tells us one angle is, so x is 15 more than twice the other angle. So there we have our two equations that we're going to work with here. And again, since I have an x equals, I'm going to use substitution. This will give us 15 plus 2y plus another y is equal to 90. So we can actually combine like terms, and I'm going to subtract this 15 off of each side while we're at it. We now have 3y is equal to 75 degrees, and therefore y will equal 25 degrees. Since our two angles add up to be 90 degrees, we can subtract 25 to find out that x will equal 65 degrees. And those are the two angles we're looking for. This next problem is rather easy. The equations just come out very quickly. The difference of two positive numbers is 2. Well, that means if we subtract two values, we get 2. And the second equation or sentence tells us that their sum, if we add them, is 36. You can just fly through this problem. Add these together, the y's cancel each other out. You have 2x is equal to 38, therefore x is equal to 19. The difference of the numbers is 2, and they add up to 36, so you know that y must equal 17. Very quick process here. Finally, let's see what we have. 6 times the smaller of two numbers. Okay, 6 times the smaller, I'll use S for smaller, minus the larger, so minus L for the larger, is negative 9. 10 times the smaller, 10S, plus 5 times the larger is 5. Again, that equation just flowed straight from the sentences. I would probably solve using the elimination or addition method, create 5 and negative 5 as coefficients of L here. Multiplying through the first equation by 5, I have 30S minus 5L equals negative 45. And the second equation just slides over. 10S plus 5L is equal to 5. We've designed this to cancel out the L's, which is what happens here, and we have 40S is equal to negative 40. Therefore, S is equal to negative 1. We need to solve for L. I'm going to just use the second equation here because it's easiest to do my substitution. When I let S be negative 1, 10S becomes negative 10 plus 5L is equal to 5. If I now add 10 to each side of that equation, I have 5L is equal to 15 and L is equal to 3. So our two numbers are 3 and negative 1. Notice that the larger is 3 and the smaller number is negative 1, which is consistent with what the problem is asking for.